Welcome back, everyone. This is the last half hour of the Solar Storm with your host here, Kyle Hunt, talking to Chris Dorsey. And before the break, we were talking about the Jew-engineered race war. And while I very much am a person who loves his people, who recognizes racial differences, and wants to first and foremost secure a future for my family, and that includes my larger family, I also recognize that we are being used and exploited, and our natural instincts are being led down a kosher path. And that's what I'm seeing with a lot of these so-called nationalist groups. A lot of them are actually civic nationalists, and they're one-dimensional or at highest two-dimensional thinking. And so the reason that I am trying to lead people away from this Jew-engineered race war is because I do love my people, and I don't want to see them being pawns in yet another boy versus boy conflict. That being said, all of this violence that is being committed against the Europeans by the Muslim invaders, the North Africans, the Middle Easterns, that is not acceptable. That needs to be severely punished. And people deserve to have their own ethnic homelands. But how we go about it is the important thing, I think. It's a very difficult situation because the on-the-ground reality for a lot of these people, whether they've been invaded by Central Americans or by, in Europe, the Arabs or the Africans, the on-the-ground reality is that they're dealing with these people who aren't Jews. They're dealing with rapists who are not very smart and not basically the rejects of whatever country they were. So there's real conflict that's brewing here, and people need to protect themselves, but what I'm trying to get across is the need to point out who opened the gates, who engineered all of this, and what their purposes are. So what are your comments upon this to try to get people from falling into some of the traps that have been set up for us?
I agree with everything you said, and I think I'll speak for myself. I just know what's going on, and I know that is the plan. You can't get angry at someone who's not really, who's just a pawn in the game. This is larger than that. But the reality is, yeah, the plan is to European genocide in the United States and European genocide in Europe as well. It's to, I guess, get rid of, make everybody darker. That seems to be what their plan is, and they seem to make this like race war. It's got another side which makes also Europeans ashamed, makes them into the according to the narrative of the media, of the Zionist media, the ultimate bad guys in world history. So
the Nazis, the heartless bastards, we're letting the poor suffering refugees.
Right, the Nazis. That's the thing that they say about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a Nazi. These cultural Marxist Black Lives Matter folks, they can't say the word Nazi enough. And when you try to start explaining to them, like, hey, the word Nazi is actually, a pejorative, and it wasn't really ever used, and they can't get into, like, a deep discussion about amicably getting to the bottom of something. That's what I wish to do. I don't wish to, be incorrect about what I'm saying. If somebody tomorrow were to say, hey, it's not the Jews, Alex Jones is correct, it's the German death cult, and here's the evidence, when that happens, I will gladly eat my words and say, the German death cult's got to go, and everybody's got to watch out for me. And then I guess I just got to wait for my check to get in for being like part of the Swiss Octagon. British and German death cult. I'm waiting for my pay for all of that stuff. I'm waiting for my privilege to be part of all of the supreme money controllers and string pullers on planet Earth. I'm just waiting for that. Have you gotten your check yet?
No, I haven't. Because it looks like you might have some Celtic blood in you. Are you part Irish, maybe?
Well, the paternal line, and this is according to, I can't afford to get this sort of stuff done, but my brother, he's fairly wealthy from being a lawyer at the Pentagon, at R-L21. So yeah, the Dorsey is Irish, specifically R-L21. But yeah, I'm from Hagerstown, Maryland, and also Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. So it's Scots, Irish, English, and of course German and Swiss, what they call the Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah, the Deutsch, really Dutch. Most people don't know that. I think it's interesting that we've got so many people in this country, the United States, who buy into this white privilege stuff. They think that they should feel guilty for that. They don't know anything about the Irish and Scottish enslavement in the United States. Not just indentured servants. Even though the indentured servants were bad enough, people need to know how they were treated, how their indentured time was elongated for any kind of infraction, how they were treated worse than slaves. But all the exploitation of white people that took place in the colonies, and how it was Jew orchestrated, how the transatlantic slave trade was Jew orchestrated. If we could only get this information out there en masse and say, listen, you have historical grievances, don't take it up with us. A lot of our people were enslaved, and actually at the height of slavery in the United States, it was only 1.4% of white Americans who owned slaves.
Right.
So maybe you want to take it up with those people over there who call themselves chosen above everybody else and refer to everybody else as Goyim.
Well, yeah, that's where the Monsanto family made their fortune. They probably had one beforehand because they had the ships to run a lot of the slave trade. Of course, Providence, Rhode Island was the folks that were among the first of the great slave traders, the so-called Dutch masters, operated out of New Amsterdam and Providence, Rhode Island, and I guess the entire colony of Rhode Island. And also, of course, there were African Americans who owned slaves, including white slaves in the United States, and there were African Americans who owned slaves up until the last days of the Civil War.
And it's always going to just be, if the Jews continue their narrative, that white people are the only people who have ever enslaved anybody, only people that have ever oppressed anybody, everyone is just the victim. When you have upwards of 60 million people enslaved in the world today, but nobody makes movies about it, nobody cares, because it's not white people doing it. In Africa, and a lot of them are in Israel too. A lot of sex slaves from Eastern Europe are there in Israel. They cut up their passports. It's well known internationally. They even admit it. It's a human trafficking site, and organ trafficking is huge there. But no, they're God's chosen people. Don't question them. Both parties here in the United States agree they're our greatest ally. It's just, this world is so very, very messed up. I want to be able to get out of this somehow. Now, you have some solutions. You are part of a militia in Virginia. You have a history as well with the Virginia Constitution and with this idea of the militia. How do you suggest we actually start to take our power back? And instead of us always being on the run, being afraid, being the rightful heirs in this country, how do we take our power back?
Well, first of all, we have to recognize that is the case. We have to recognize that the word militia is not a bad word. It is the basis of the common law. It is the basis of the Constitution. The Second Amendment enforces all of the other amendments and rights enumerated in the United States Constitution, and all rights enumerated anywhere. It's our God-given right to protect ourselves. And Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Constitution, which is the militia clause, and the Second Amendment to the Constitution for the United States, which is also the militia clause, that lays out not only do we have the God-given right of self-defense, but we have the God-given right to be able to, through force of arms, abolish the government, and also through force of arms, protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. So, in our founding documents, it states, hey, a standing army is a bad idea. That's what it says in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. And a standing army can only last 2 years. And it says in Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Constitution, which is the militia clause, it says pretty much the same thing. A standing army is dangerous to a free state. So therefore, the body of the people, which is what the militia is. The militia is everyone. It's the entire body of the people. That's what the framer of the militia clause, as George Mason stated. What is the militia? Is the entire body of the people, and it just is for the purpose of controlling the enforcement arm for probably at this point the money system. And we need to not only take over the military apparatus, which in the Commonwealth of Virginia, that would be the Department of Defense, because also, we need to push forward this, attack that happened on September 11, 2001 in our jurisdiction, which is the attacks on the Pentagon. But this is our birthright, to be able to control our government, and the vehicle through which that would happen is the militia, and the proper way the militia was intended.
You were on Press TV talking about these issues of having the right to self-defense and the right to bear arms. It was very odd to me that they would have you on when the host there seemed to be pretty much advocating for disarmament of the American people in the wake of this, as we called it, the Holocaust in Orlando. But I also was thinking, well, they also let Chris, give his whole platform, basically. You talked quite a bit and refuted what was being said, and then some. So I was thinking, maybe they were just throwing you softballs. What's the case with Press TV?
I don't know. Basically, they have me on, and I'll go up against like a Zionist like Brett Godowski of the Hill magazine. He's a former Senate staffer, Zionist Jew. I'll go on with these guys who are editors of mainstream media papers. I think that they know I generally know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to say it exactly the way it is. And it doesn't really matter who disagrees with it. If they disagree with it, that's fine, but I'm not saying anything that I cannot verify as fact.
I liked when you put in there that Obama was a homosexual prostitute.
Sure,
it seems like you were saying that he is. Now,
yeah. No,
I'm pretty sure you could look through and be able to prove that one, or at least prove some very, very demented stuff, especially, his past with Larry Sinclair and his body man, Reggie Love, and all this other weird stuff. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to ask you, what are your thoughts about Michael Obama? I'm 99.99% sure that is a man.
That's a man. That's a man. I think it's pretty obviously a man. Because, the photos, there were too many live photos showing her manhood, and also, it's clearly a man, there's clearly an Adam's apple there. It's a man. It's a man's shoulders, it's a big man's shoulders, it's a strong, powerful, transsexual man.
Oh, yeah. That's a big man, too. In the whole thing where George W. Bush was laughing, holding hands with Michael Obama at the Dallas Police Memorial, she was towering above him. She is jacked. That's a decent-sized man.
That's a big man. A big, powerful man, yeah.
Yeah, not some of these so-called based trannies like Alex Jones has been having on Blair. And all these right trannies that are now in the Trump train. There's actually a trannies for Trump thing. I don't know if you caught it either. I hate to just delve into these.
You're talking about Giuliani dressed as a woman with Trump?
Well, and also Trump allowed for his Miss Universe contest, allowed for trannies back in, was it 2012? I think that's when the first tranny competed, and it won some kind of award, and there have been trannies since. It's just, he's been all about this. He even said Caitlyn Jenner could come use the Trump Tower bathroom whenever. But yeah, there's a whole trannies for Trump thing going on, but also there's twinks for Trump. Now, twink, for anybody that doesn't know, it was a young homosexual, kind of effeminate boy who is beloved by an older, or rather, sodomized by an older man. Now, at this big Gays for Trump thing that was going on at the RNC, where Milo, the Breitbart writer, was having his little thing. Along the whole wall behind them were these photos from twinks for Trump. For some of these boys look like they're emaciated 12-year-olds. Did you catch this at all?
I'm glad I didn't, honestly, because I'm starting to wonder. We know that Google and Microsoft and DARPA, they're putting out all of the child pornography, and of course the folks running the government, they're running all the child prostitution. But why? They just are denigrating everything. They're just really scraping the bottom of the barrel and acting as if this is the moral way to act. Because I don't wish, there's enough bad coming everybody's way. I can't wish on even my enemies, because they'll have whatever comes to them. But this is really getting disgusting with what they're pushing forward. Why is this the basis of discussion? When did homosexuality become one of the most important political issues that faces humanity? That's what I want to know.
Bathing the White House in a rainbow. At the RNC this year, Peter Thiel of PayPal, which has gotten rid of any kind of nationalist accounts that don't go along with the PC line. Now, Peter Thiel came out saying, I'm a Republican and I'm a gay. He came out of the closet, and it's just great celebration. And the RNC was just this kind of diversity fest. But you still have these people thinking that Trump is a Nazi. You've got Nazis thinking that Trump is an actual national socialist. It's like this level of retardedness that's really hard to comprehend. But as we mentioned before, a lot of this could have to do with Hasbro, the whole megaphone sock puppet thing. A lot of this is AstroTurf, in my opinion, and the promotion of some of these people is not organic. It's not just that they rose to the top. It's not just that this Richard Spencer point alt-right, and was that Gays for Trump, who's the head of the MPI doing Trump conferences. It's not just that they decided to go after the leading figure to do New York Times articles on and Time Magazine articles on. They're promoting their own controlled opposition. You look at who was at Gays for Trump, it's just absurd. I think Geert Wilders was there as well. You've got some popular Jewish alt-right people like Mike Cernovich. You've got Pamela Geller, the anti-Islam lady. She was in there in a rainbow dress. She never saw a Zionist war she did not love. And you have even some people who've done some decent work, in my opinion, like Peter Brimelow was there. All these people coalescing. Charles Johnson, the beloved right-wing conservative blogger out there, and Got News is what he runs. It's just, the controlled opposition should be obvious, but people are not seeing it because they want to be swept up in something where they think that they're winning. They want us to think that we're going to have some kind of victory here, and the reason we're discussing this is because it does not seem like we will whatsoever. In fact, Trump is very, very dangerous. Hillary is dangerous. They're both very, very much against us. But I think because Trump does come off across to people as being genuine, as being somebody who really is a populist. I think that's what makes him even more dangerous, potentially. But let's get back to the idea of taking our power back. You wrote a piece recently, about 20 pages long. If you talk about surveilling these people who want to lord over us, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, we do it. That's what we do. That's what I do. I like to do it armed. Sometimes I don't do it. Sometimes I do it unarmed. And I like to let them know that I'm watching too when I'm watching, unless they're just so busy doing something really outrageous that it's just not an issue. But yeah, they need to be surveilled. Now what we're talking about on a large scale is we need to start getting these secret documents about their chemtrailing, about the underground military bases, about their plans for attacks on the United States, where they're planning on letting all of us die while they escape to their underground bunkers. We need to know about that, and we need to have 24-hour surveillance on all the top secret activity of the United States government. We require, I should say, because when we're talking about government is the servant of man, government is the servant of the people, so we make requirements of our servants. We don't make demands. We're not going to argue with them. We require these things. We require that the leaders of the government, all of the wealthiest people who are benefiting from this criminal system, we require that they pay for their crimes. I mean, we talk about these false flags. We require that the folks that are involved in this, we know who they are, we've named them, we require that they pay. If it's treason, we require that they pay what the Constitution demands for treason. Because that's not our rules. The Constitution is not our rules. That's the rules for our servants.
I agree. Now, there are people that say that the Constitution, the Founding Fathers, were set up from the get-go. Have you looked into this at all? What do you think about this?
I don't think so. I mean, if they were to say, okay, well, we're using these words and we're saying that these are people and these are not people, I think that we have a lot of revisionist history. Like I said, like you have said, I should state also, that people did have freedom. We didn't have a police force. We had the body of the people guarding themselves. We have the body of the people more governing themselves. The government is much bigger at this point than it was when it took days to get to town hall for, 60 or 70% of the population of the United States, and before that, the American colonies. So, I don't buy any bit of fact that this isn't anything other than a tool for us to utilize. If we take the words of the Constitution and we use them, there would be a gigantic Nuremberg-style trial that would make the original look like, Judge Judy, I should say.
What do you think the odds of this happening are? Do you see it? Do you see the seeds of this? And what can we do to hasten this?
The odds of it happening are good if folks follow these instructions. Act like I'm acting. The reason why these guys will duck me off the street and they'll disappear me in the prison system and they'll threaten to kill me and they'll try to kill me, and these are bar association cops, all these guys, is because I won't stop and I don't like to take their advice on how I should attack them. That's what I do. When they tell me exactly how to attack, when they say, hey Chris, when this guy, bar association member named Gerald C. Wilmore, before he attempted to attack and kill me, also a Jew, before he attempted to attack and kill me outside of a Democratic committee meeting, he had a meeting, he said to me, Chris, you got a lot of good ideas. You should just really leave this 9/11 was carried out by Israel thing alone. What happens 5 months later? This guy attempts to kill me in front of an eyewitness right outside of a gigantic bank building in downtown Richmond. There's a court case behind it, and there was a cover-up behind the court case, but he was convicted. But anyways, that's what they do, because we don't, when you listen to the controlled opposition telling you what to do, don't. Listen to the folks that are telling you what to do that makes sense. What's the only way we're going to go after them? We're not going to be like the fake, Mormon mafia, government crisis actors out in Oregon and take over a freaking rest area in an abandoned state park in the middle of the winter and face off against the government, we need to lawfully require that the government start handing over their weapons and that the people have oversight. That's what the militia is about. Militia is about oversight and control over the most powerful military weapons. And if that's the DARPANET, we wish to have the DARPANET. When it's the nuclear submarines, that's what we wish to have. When it's
all these things that we have essentially built that has come from our money, from our labors, and let's use them for our benefit. I agree.
Absolutely.
We are essentially out of time here. Probably just a few seconds left before the music kicks in. Where can people find you and anything else coming up that you'd like to talk about real quickly here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I got contacted by somebody in Hollywood about a reality TV show, so I'm going to talk to you about that after we get off the air, Kyle, but or whenever you get a chance. But also Richmond Peace on YouTube, Chris Dorsey on Facebook.
All right, fantastic. It's great talking to you tonight. I want to thank you and all of our audience out there listening. I really do appreciate all of your support. Stay tuned, everyone. Much more coming up.
Working class life.